I'm Charles Chuck Trimble, from Omaha, Nebraska at this time. I'm originally from the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation up in southwestern South Dakota, from the village of Wombly, where I was born and raised. And I have the privilege and the honor tonight of serving as your moderator. Our challenge is to present Native American points of view on culture and diversity.
Their tribal identity was taken away from them, stripped from them, just like the northern Poncas. And so it wasn't until 1990s that the northern Ponca people were actually acknowledged once again as a tribal entity within the United States, even though, you know, the historic trial was here in Omaha of Standing Bear. And so what that identified us as is basically people, that we weren't considered humans at that time. And so when you look at the government and the policies and the acts carried out against us, this was true genocide throughout all Indian territories, throughout the lands. And so this had a huge effect on our existence, and it still has today.
And given the wide differences in our cultures, do you think it is justified to speak of a single Indian culture?
There's so many different tribes, so many different ways. There's no one way better than the other. There's no one more Indian than the other. It's the sincerity of it, what's in your heart, and how we walk as individuals.
I don't look upon the United States as being the only place. I look at it as being Turtle Island. And I look at it as being the people from the northern tip of Canada to the southern tip of South America. This is inclusive of all the indigenous peoples of this area that I just mentioned. I don't think of it in that terms as visiting that state. I think of it as in terms of visiting that region where that certain tribe resides. So if I'm going there, I'm thinking I'm going to Apache country. I'm going to Mohawk country. I'm going to Seminole country.
There was a time when the government wanted to do away with the Indian, the American Indian, his language, his way of prayer, his thoughts. They went to great lengths, and now we are seeing the long-term effect of that. When you say Native American culture, there's a new sense of who we are. Majority of our population are young people, 30 and below. We're evolving and changing.
The Winnebago people from Winnebago, Nebraska, aren't originally from the state of Nebraska. Because we were placed on a reservation in northeastern Nebraska, we pretty much lost our language. That's why I don't speak my language fluently. There were a lot of things that we lost, and we borrowed some things from the local tribes, and as a people, we're strong, we're proud. We're proud of who we are.
For those of you who don't know, our religious ceremonies, our way of life was actually outlawed by the United States government. And so from 1880 till they passed the Native American Religious Freedom Act in 1978, we were held accountable and could be persecuted at any time for conducting ceremonies. But there is a commitment to our way of life that has to be instilled, and a kinship has to be established first of all before we give you what has been taken away, and that's something we've been hiding for centuries out of fear.
Language and culture are one. They're intertwined. You can't have one without the other. There are many tribes we've had through the years, these past 500 years. Some tribes have totally lost their language altogether. We need to teach the parents just as well as the children. There needs to be curriculum that compels that parent to learn what these words are.
And on our reservation, I believe there's after we lost a couple of them this past year, I believe we only have 8 fluent speakers of our language.
I tell young people, and I deal with a lot of non-Indians too, I said, don't feel ashamed. I said, what's done is done. We can't change that. What we do have a say in is the future. And we can move forward together. And there is always hope.